All right. Shalom, shalom. Want to say Kahala Yahweh, Shem Mashiach Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakak Kodash. All praises to the Most High God and His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, who you ignorantly call Jesus Christ, and through the Spirit, Bahashim Mashiach Yahweh Shai. All right, we know cap nations of kings and priests. All right. Real quick, hopefully y'all can hear me okay. I got a new mic. All praise to the Most High. Y'all could hear me better, but trying to upgrade the equipment, trying to get trying to get up in times over here. You know what I'm saying? So all praise to the Most High, man. So thank y'all for joining and rocking with me. This is another installment, man, of a book review. Okay, so just a quick disclaimer on book reviews that I've been doing. Um, they're for edification purposes, and the purposes are for you to get your own book and get this information, and to to start highlighting and bringing out this information that a lot of us don't necessarily do. So the goal, right, is to you know grab one of these yourself. If y'all could see, I actually have the book in front of me. So this is the a plastic book that we've um, what we did today is created a presentation based on information on this book. Okay. Now, what we tend to do sometimes is just grab, a few precepts from it, and that's it. We kind of just throw it on the wayside. But um, what I always like to encourage, especially a lot of y'all to do, is there's a lot of meat in some of these books, man. We got to study. Our elders that came before us, man, they studied, they researched, they had to go into well, no internet back in the day. They had to go into libraries, you know what I'm saying? Go into antique stores, actually, engaging in the communities where they would grab this information from. So this is very important, and like it says in Revelation, um, the earth shall give to the woman, and that's information that's coming into Israel, and that now we're bringing it out today, and this time. So it's very important that we take full use of that information. You know what I'm saying? So very important stuff, man. This book is extremely meaty. Okay, and I encourage everyone to get it. This is basically a comprised book of eyewitness accounts. And when I say eyewitness accounts, we're talking about first hand witness accounts. That is extremely important, okay? Because you could have sources where it's theoretical, where it's just based on theories. You know what I'm saying? So they'll grab information and say, "Well, I believe it's like this." This book is very, very different, and it's actually extremely different because it's grabbing what it's grabbing is notes from Christopher Columbus in historical actions that happened between that time, and putting it in the book. In addition, okay, in addition, confirming what we teach, that the so-called Hispanics and the so-called natives are connected to the 12 tribes, specifically the 10 tribes of the children of Israel, or Yasha'Allah, okay, or some of y'all say Yasharal. Um, and the information is just it's beautiful. So what I did is comprised a PowerPoint presentation, and I highlighted exactly all these different, highlights in the book that are, I mean, are phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've been doing book reviews for a few years now, and this is probably one of the best that I've seen. You know, I mean, just with everything from language to culture, it tells us what our true nationality is. You know what I'm saying? And nationality is important, man. Nationality was taken from us. And it's important for us to get back to our nationality and get back to who we are and how to serve the Most High and how to live. That's very important as well. Okay. Shalom Akim, Shalom, Shalom, Kahala Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. All praises to the Most High. Let's get to it, man. So, what I'm going to do is just kind of go through the presentation, and then we'll discuss it from there. So the name of the book Christopher Columbus and the participation of the Jews in the Spanish and Portuguese discoveries. Okay. Now, that cover itself is actually one of the first covers of the book. Okay. About the book, Christopher Columbus and the participation of the Jews in the Spanish Portuguese discoveries is a foundational historical book by Mayer Kisslinger, first published in 1894. So they comprised all this information, and the first time it was published was 1894, and details a crucial, often overlooked financial, navigational, and intellectual contribution of the Jews hiding their faith, and Sephardic Jews to the Columbus's voyages and border age of discovery, challenging the narratives by highlighting the figures like the financier Louis de Stanagal and the astronomer Abraham Zatuco. The work, based on extensive Spanish archival research, reveals how the Jewish communities in Spain and Portugal, facing persecution and exploration, were integral in finding, mapping, and supporting these explorations. Did you hear that? So when they tell you that the small hats did not um, fund the slave trade, that's a lie. They actually did, and it's historical proof. Okay, but what you will find is also Jews, real Jews from Europe who were expelled from Europe as well in the book. Okay, so pages 95 and 99. Okay, so again, I'm going to kind of go through the pages and kind of take it from there, and then we'll discuss it after. Okay, so key pages, and again, y'all see I got the book. Yes, you can grab information online, no problem, but y'all got to get the book, man. Okay. um Key pages 95 through 99. The context: Kessler discusses the immediate reactions and theories formed by the explorers and early scholars upon meeting the indigenous people. So what does that tell you, family? That tells you that the first, this is eyewitness accounts, first hand witness accounts. Okay, this is not a theory. This is not, hey, this could be, should be. This is something that they're witnessing. Okay, the theory, Kesselring notes that many early writers were convinced that the Indians were descendants of the 10 lost tribes of Israel. The evidence of customs, he describes how the explorers noticed similarities in religious rituals, observance of certain fasts, anointing, and beliefs in a single supreme being, dietary laws, avoiding certain foods like swine, and specific slaughtering rituals, clothing, similarities in traditional garments such as fringes and head coverings. Come on, man. Come on. You know what that deserves a so we had head coverings and fringes. Can't make this up, man. Right? In addition to specifically staying away from swine, you know? Um Language. Kessing, Kesseling mentions on page 98 that some believe that the natives' dialect contained Hebrew roots. Okay. For example, he cited the theory that the name Guarani, the first island Columbus accessed, was actually derived from Hebrew. Interesting note, right? Guarani is a tribe in South America. Believe it or not, that's their name, Guarani. Y'all may remember a soccer player by the name of Diego Maradona from Argentina, where my parents are from. And what you will find out is his father is from the tribe Guarani. As a matter of fact, a lot of y'all might not know, or might know Alex Pereira, the Brazilian fighter. When you see him come out and his thing, all that's from the tribe of Guarani, in Brazil or South America, and they all have similar traits like that. So, nonetheless, it's very interesting that this came up in this book, and they formed the name deriving from Hebrew. I'm not going to get into the Hebrew language, but again, we're just proving similarities, and we're proving certain things that they found and witnessed the first explorers here in the Americas. Okay, so let's continue. All right, hold on a second. All right, let's go to biblical references. Check this out. So it mentioned in the book religious rites, observance of certain fasts. Y'all should know this already, but just in case if y'all don't, there are certain fasts. And what certain fasts are those? Now, if you don't know where our feast days are at, you'll look at them in the book of Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. All right. And if you look at here, let me share my screen. Okay. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 23. It says, verse 2, speak unto the children of Israel, saying unto them concerning the feast of the Lord, which these shall proclaim, and shall be holy convocations. Even these are my feast. Okay, so look at this. Let's go down to verse. Uh, 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 all right, here we go. 27. Oh, let's start at verse 26. So, verse 26, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, also on the 10th day of the 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be a holy convocation unto you, and ye shall what? Afflict your souls. How? An offering by fire unto the Lord. And we know that according afflicting your soul, you shall not eat any food, which is fasting, right? Verse 28, and ye shall do no work on the same day, for it is a day of atonement to make an atonement for you before the Lord your God. Okay. So now we see that this was a atonement, a fasting feast, right, for the Lord. So again, another a connection or another observance that the first explorers, you know, witnessed. All right, and when they first came over here, what else did they do? All right, the other thing it mentioned were the dietary laws. Of course, now we go to Leviticus the 11th chapter. Okay, and it specifically mentions the swine. I mean, you can't get and you can't get more than that, right? So the swine, Leviticus 11 and verse 7, and the swine, the one that biteth the hoof and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is what? Unclean to you. Of their flesh ye shall not eat, and of their carcasses ye shall not touch. They are unclean to you. It's funny to me that, you know, the Europeans, which believed in the Bible, did not do what the Bible says. However, they observed natives proclaiming these laws that are in the Bible that they believe in. You know, so It's just one of those things, man. But of course, for a and in Deuteronomy, and I'll grab it really quick. Deuteronomy 28. We would have to go to our enemy for all things. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 48. Okay, it says, "And thou shalt serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in nakedness and in wants of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck, and until he have destroyed thee." How has he destroyed you? By you defiling what the Lord said not to do, right? By you going against the word of the Most High, by you going against the laws of God. So, of course, you're going to be destroyed. The Lord said either you do, it's a blessing, or you don't, it's a curse. So, when we're looking at our communities today, you know, the, I mean, the highest, the highest amount of idolatry that you see is in our communities. Whether we're killing each other, whether we're putting out idolatrous, statues, okay, calling upon other gods, eating, a defiled food, unclean food. It's all in our communities, man. That's why we gotta cleanse ourselves. And the Most High says He's going to cleanse. The the thing you need to do is repent and come back to the law, statutes, and commands. But we'll continue in that discussion, man. Right? All right. So let's continue in the presentation real quick. All praise to the Most High. Khan. That's right. Shalom, Ak. Yeah, that's right. This tells us who we are and how to live, and that's what the laws do, man. So all praises to the Most High. Let's continue here. All right. Hopefully y'all can see me. And that deserved a ah. God, oh, this one too. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? All praises, all praises. All right. So key pages 14, 15, and 96. Christopher Columbus's perspective. Now, there is a journal that she mentions, or excuse me, that the author mentions in the book. And it's a journal, very famous journal of Christopher Columbus's. So it's a journal that he kept. And they grabbed the pages and they grabbed some of this information is coming from there. Okay. So check this out. Key pages 14, 15, and 96. Did Columbus know? Caseling presents Columbus not as a man who knew for certain, but as a man deeply influenced by biblical prophecy and Jewish scholarship. The Messianic goal. Columbus was obsessed with the book of Isaiah and the idea of ends of the earth. On page 14, Kesselring highlights that Columbus' primary goal was to find the gold of Ophir or to fund the crusade to reclaim Jerusalem, a goal deeply tied to Jewish messianic acceptation. The entrepreneur, perhaps the strongest evidence of Christopher Columbus' suspicion, is his choice of Luis de Torres. Now, we read about Luis de Torres before as his official interpreter. Torres was a converted Jew who spoke Hebrew, Chaldeic, and Arabic. Some say also Aramaic, right? Um, but that's what it said here. Columbus brought him specifically because he believed that they would encounter people who spoke these languages, likely The lost tribes of the descendants of the biblical kings, page 94. Okay, that's pretty evident who that was, man. You know what I'm saying? Um, Columbus's intent, prophecy or fact. Did Columbus believe he had found the lost tribes? Biblical prophecy. Kesselring argues on page 14 and 15 that Columbus saw himself as a messenger of the new heaven and earth. He was heavily influenced by the book of Ezra and the book of Isaiah. So now I know we mentioned the book of Second Ezra a lot, but I mean, obviously he read the book of Isaiah, and he believed that that King Solomon's Ophir, the land, right, was there. Okay, so funding the third temple, a central theme of Kisling's book, that Columbus intended to use the wealth of the Indies to finance a final crusade to Jerusalem, a goal deeply intertwined with the Jewish Messianic expectations of the era. Conclusion: while Columbus may not have had proof, Kingsley demonstrates that the admiral operated within a worldview where the existence of discovery of the lost tribes was the initial geographical expectation. So he knew, you know, if if you were going to find the lost tribes, they would be there, right? They would be in a land. He understood what Ezra said, okay, that they would be in a land where no man dwelt. And what is a new world? New world, right? So it just is just factual that he would automatically go ahead and go into a land that never mankind dwelt, man. Okay, drop a bomb for that. All right, all right. Let's continue. Uh, all right, linguistic connection and interpreter, Slovakia. Why Columbus brought a Hebrew speaker on the voyage. The language theory. Hesseling highlights that the belief that the narrative dialects contained corrupted Hebrew roots. Side note, I'm not arguing with you about Hebrew, okay? Because just like the language we're speaking today, the language changes, man. It does. That we speak Paleo Hebrew, no problem. It's the oldest ancient, but I'm not arguing with you by semantic uh, pronunciations. I'm not doing it. There's other things and other information that takes precedence. But Hebrew is an important language. We should go back to it. I'll say that. Okay. And we should call upon our gods by the original language. Okay. It's just important for us to do that. If we're going to claim our heritage, language is part of that. Okay. Let us continue. Luis de Torres on page 94 occasionally identifies Torres as a new Christian or Morano, okay, who was the first European to set foot in American soil. The purpose: Columbus did not bring a Spanish only speaking for diplomacy. He specifically employed Torres because of his fluency in Hebrew and Chaldeic. Okay. So you're bringing a Hebrew speaker to speak to Hebrews. There's no denying that, right? So you hired a Hebrew speaking Hebrew to speak to the Hebrews. Now, I know what y'all thinking, Morano, right? Or Marano, right? Let's go with Morano. Let me show you what that means. I'll show you what that means because Morano is is specific, right? Let me share my screen here so y'all can see exactly what that means. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Oh, here it goes. Um, hopefully y'all can see that. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Oh wait, that's not it. My bad. Uh, 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 my bad. It's this one here. Okay, hopefully y'all could see that. If not, I'll just read it really quick. Maranos were a Spanish and Portuguese Jews, as well as Navarrese Jews, who converted to Christianity, either voluntarily or by Spanish and Portuguese royal coercion during the 15th and 16th centuries, but who continued the practice of Judaism in secret or were suspected it. They were also called crypto Jews, a term increasingly preferred in scholarly works over Maranos, right? So understand that there was a conversion to Catholicism, or what they called Christianity, in Europe, and you had ethnic Jews or ethnic Israelites in Europe who converted or had to convert, right, to the new Christianity that they had there, or the new Catholicism that they had there. Okay, where do we read that? Where do we read that as well, Akim? Where else do we read that? We read that in the Maccabees, don't we? We see a forced conversion to be Gentiles in the book of Maccabees. As a matter of fact, let me get that really quick, just so those who don't know understand, right? So let me grab that really quick. So we're gonna go to Maccabees. Oop, where am I? Good Lord. All right, we'll go to Maccabees 2:6, and I believe verse 6. Yeah. Okay. Let me. Yeah. Well, I'll start at verse 8. So second Maccabees. Hope y'all can see my screen. Okay. All praise. Second Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 8. Moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor cities of the heathen by the suggestion of Ptolemy against the Jews, that they should observe the same fashions and be partakers of their sacrifice. They were doing the Grecian Roman captivity was doing the same that the Spanish did, that the Portuguese did. So understand there were converts or Hellenistic Spaniards and Portuguese as well. Now, y'all correct me if I'm, I forgot their name, but there's a group in Cuba that they keep very traditional customs as Old Testament Jews, right? But and you see them. I mean, they're dark skinned, they're woolly hair, the whole nine. Um, but they're in Cuba. They say that they are from those who were exiled from Spain and actually went to Cuba, and they say they could trace their lineage and their rabbis from the explosion, the when they were expelled from Spain. So either you converted into being a Christian, into Catholicism, or you died. Luis de Torres, the interpreter, was a Morano, which that's what they called those Jews who converted into Christianity or Catholicism. Okay. Some of those have become Sephardic Jews as well. It's very important for us to also dig in, uh, dig into that as well. Okay, what'd you have me look? Entomology. Let's see what that says. Oops. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. It's a bad word, bro. Yeah, it means pig, swine. Yeah. Oh, my bad. Let me share my screen. Yeah, medieval Spain, Morano, a Christianized Jew or more, especially one who merely professed conversion in order to avoid persecution. But it does mean, look what it means, y'all. Y'all can see my screen. Yeah, let me make it a little bit bigger here. It's a bad word. It means pig or often dirty person. This is not to be confused when you see moreno. Moreno is dark, right? Marano is different. It's a different word. But that, yeah, yeah, definitely don't want to be called that. And isn't that a subjected term too, man? It really is. Is demoralizing, demeaning. A proverb and a byword, like the scriptures say, man. You know. So the hell with these dudes, man. All right. Let's get back to it. All praises to the Most High. Check this out, yeah. All right. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. Okay. So, key figures cited by Kesseling. So this is in the book. To add in depth in my presentation, you may want to mention the specific authors of Kesseling's uses to back up these claims. Aaron Levi or Antonio de Mostininos, mentioned on page 99. He was a Portuguese Morano who claimed to have met the tribe in the Andes who recited the Shema in Israel, the central Jewish prayer, or whatever that means. The Shema, which you'll find that in Deuteronomy, right? The fourth chapter, sixth chapter. The Shema and the Americas, discussion of Antonio Montanino's claim on page 99 that he encountered the tribes of the Andes who greeted him with the Hebrew prayer, Shema Israel, Adonai Elohim, Adonai Echad. Uh, you know, that's the Shema. Then you have Manasseh ben Israel. Kesseling references his 1650 work of Hope of Israel, which used Montezimo's account to argue that the Native Americans were indeed Israelites, page 100. Now, this is this dude here, so I just want y'all to see who this guy is. And then this is a depiction of this Levi guy here mentioned, and Antonio de Montonimos. And I actually grabbed it from here or the picture, but if you see, it's an actual statue in Santo Domingo today. So they have an actual statue of this guy, and it says he advocated for the release of slavery in Santo Domingo. Okay. Um, Anyways, Portuguese traveler from the Dominican farrier. Antonio de Mus, also known as Arian Levi or Aran Halevi, was a Portuguese traveler and and Corvorso Sephardic Jew who in 1644 persuaded Manasseh ben Israel, a rabbi from Amsterdam, that he had found one of the lost tribes of Israel living in the jungle of the Guanoto province, that is, in Pechuria province in Ecuador. This proposed a discovery gave a new impulse in Manasseh's messianic hopes. Manasseh wrote a book about the narrative and the hope of Israel, and Manasseh argued and tried to give learned support to the theory that the natives inhabitants of the Americas in the time of the European discovery actually descended from the lost 10 tribes of Israel. The book was originally published in Latin, Mesafik Israel, Hofak es Israel, the Spanish Esperanza de Israel, in 1650, but its publication in English was in 1652. Come on, man. 14, 1644, and then published in 1652. I mean, you can't make this up. This is, what? This is pre-Columbian people that you're meeting there, reciting the Shema Yasha Allah, Allah Hayanawa Yahweh Akkad, man, right? Realizing that they were speaking Hebrew and greeting each other in Hebrew, man. Can't make this up, man. Again, it's in here. It's all in here. I mean, there's and it's so much more too, man. So much more. I mean, it's just crazy the amount of information that is in here. Okay. Um, Nonetheless, you know, that's what I got. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, this is for an encouragement, okay, for y'all to get the books yourselves. The information is there. You know, a lot of people like to say, well, the 12 tribes chart was created for a gimmick. Let me tell y'all something, man. The information is way before One West, way before One West. All praises and honor to those brothers and elders, right? That did their due diligence to do the homework, to do, and double honors to them, man. For real, double honors to them. However, to say that it just came as a gimmick is the worst scholarship ever, because there's so much more information outside of One West. And it's not even like a One West thing. What I'm saying is a lot of people like to demonize One West as, hey, the 12 tribe chart is fake. This is, all this is, man, look, there's so much information that we're bringing out that it doesn't start at One West. It started way before that. You know what I'm saying? So again, do your due diligence, be good examples. Okay, that's very important as well. Pray for your leadership, pray for the leadership of Israel, and pray for the destruction of our enemies, man, because we want to go home. Okay. With that, I'm gonna yield. I want to say call hello, Yahweh Bashim Mashiach Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakah Kodash. Until the next book review, which will be soon. I've been working on a lot of different um, presentations, so it won't be too long. So, Kwam Yasha Allah. Shalom.